Welcome to another episode of Drewski Drift. We are hanging out in the garage today. There's a hurricane coming in a couple days and everyone's freaking out. So as a local, I don't really have much preparation that I need to do because we've been through it 100 times, but everyone is out and about, clogging all the stores, clogging all the roads, buying all the water, buying all the gas. There's really nothing to do, nowhere to go, so we're here in the shop enjoying some time, and we're gonna have some fun today. I bought a new welder, which I'll show you here. This is a TIG welder that can also do stick welding, which is what we're gonna practice today. I'm gonna be using this table for welding. We're gonna be using a 6011 stick, which is smaller, a little cleaner, easier stick to start with. Now I've never welded anything before, but I have watched people weld, and actually, fun fact, 99% of the stuff that's welded on the Skyline for anything that's been custom fab, intercooler, radiator, anything like that, was done with this welder right here. So this is by a good friend of mine. He needed some cash. He has a better welder anyways, so he decided to sell me this one, which is what he was using for mobile welding, because he used to come to me to weld up anything I needed on the Skyline. So I want to get to the point where not only I can fab my own stuff, but I want to get good enough with TIG welding that I can create some really fine detail. I'm kind of OCD about things that go into my race cars, so hoping that I can get really good at TIG welding, take my time with things, and take a week to do a job that I'd have to leave at a shop for months on end or whatever. So let's get started. Alright, so I went and found a piece of steel. It's pretty thick. It's actually, it was holding up the, what was it? I think it's a sway bar mount that I took off of something a while ago. I flattened it all the way out and I grinded it down because it was covered in oil and paint. So it's still, I'm sure it's still contaminated, but for our purpose right here of learning, it's fine. Much better start. I think I let it get too far away. Might have moved too quick on that one, and hard. It's very sloppy. Still a little red hot. But as you can see, my technique is kind of crap. I made a line, so it didn't flare off, so I had to restart it or anything, but see if I can do better. Still extremely hot, but I got a line going. It started nicer up here. I think I was just running too hot of amperage. I hung out too long here. Started the crater. So that one felt a little better. I got a little steadier line going. I did have a stop and restart right here. That's why it looks all janky, but I'm not getting that slag that is supposed to like knock off of here. I'm just grinding this down to kind of see what the penetration looks like. So I'm just grinding this down to kind of see what the penetration looks like, to see if I'm getting too close or too far, too much amperage, trying to figure out, you know, what aspect of the stick welding I am clearly failing at. So it looks like it's going through pretty well. I actually had one beat up. This was on the bottom side from here, so I must have melted through it, hit the table, and then it beat it up and rebuilt the top, which tells me I don't think I'm too close, because if I back off further, then the arc starts to disappear, starts to widen out and get all messy, and the slag goes everywhere. So maybe this isn't the right material for me to start off with. Maybe the stick is wrong. Maybe my amperage is wrong. You know, lots of research for me to do. This takes time, obviously. Stick welding's hard. It's messy. It's hard. Welders courses, they teach stick welding for a very long time, so you can learn that hand coordination with a helmet on. Which is why I wanted to start with it, because transitioning from stick welding into TIG welding is it has a lot of similarities. TIG welding is much more precise. It's much cleaner. You've got like a filler material with a torch as opposed to just, you know, steadying the stick onto the metal. But I think if we do this enough, get enough practice, might be able to do something. Okay, we're gonna give this welding one more attempt. I'm gonna try a different rod this time. The 6011, that rod that I was using, supposedly works better on AC, and this TIG welder only does DC stick welding. So I went ahead and cleaned up this piece of metal. It's the same one, but I just grinded everything off pretty much, and then kind of measured it out, see how thick it was after the fact. So I'm gonna be using a different rod that's a little bit cleaner. It's a 7018. And looked up what the amperage should be about depending on the thickness of the metal. So we're going to give that a run and see how it goes. So I think that went a lot better. As you can see, I got a steady line. It's definitely a lot smoother. This is really hot right now. Let it cool down and then clamp it down. I can do a couple more passes and see if we can be cleaner. So, rough start there. But looks cleaner. Definitely not the best welds in the world, but I think we're getting somewhere. I think here I had a good start, and then it broke up in the middle, and then I started running too cold. Alright, let's try the other side. All right, that felt a lot better towards the end. You can see I just started going faster once I got comfortable with a rhythm, and I think that's what needs to be happening. I think I'm sitting on it too long. I got towards the end here and it just burnt through because I sat there for a second. So I think that's kind of a trick with stick welding, is you got to time it. All right, so since the hurricane is coming and there's supposed to be a lot of wind, a lot of rain, I decided to go get some sandbags to block off the doors just in case.
Bringing in these feeder bands, and it's also bringing in this rainfall threat for this I-4 corridor. That is the area that I'm most concerned about as night falls, because all of this rain is going to happen in the pitch dark of night. And then if anybody's out on the roads, if anybody starts to have some flooding and they think that they need to get out, they're not going to be able to see. If there's a tree down, they're not going to be able to see if the roads are flooded. And so nighttime flooding is, as we went through with Ida here in New York, it is the most deadly kind of flooding that you can have, and the most devastating.
Don't have to be out. Don't.
Absolutely. Try to stay inside. But David, how long then is the danger of the surge? How many days after the pinwheel has passed an area?
This neighborhood turning into an extension of the Gulf. WINK-TV in Fort Myers forced off the air after water submerged their newsroom. Water seeping into the first floor of this hospital in Port Charlotte. And in Tampa, powerful winds sending this tree into a home. The hurricane also one of the top 10 to make landfall in the U.S., roaring ashore near Key Costa, carrying 150-mile-per-hour winds.
Seeing it for the first time from this bird's eye view, I mean, it's heartbreaking and it's stunning, and you just wonder, are these people okay? And like you said, Jim, how are they going to get out? They're just kind of trapped right now.
You can plan for the worst until the worst is way worse than you could ever imagine.
And you're going to need a lot of boats to get a lot of those people out. I know we don't have that many boats, that's for sure.
So I originally planned to release this video back on Tuesday, right before the hurricane hit, but actually halfway through editing it, the power shut off and we just got it back this morning. Today is Friday, so a day after the hurricane left. So finally getting power back. Water's starting to recede in our yard. We're safe here. Obviously there's a lot of damage on the coast of Florida. I'm sure all of you have been watching that. If you're from Florida, you know what it's about. So please set some positive vibes around and do a random act of kindness for someone. It will probably make their day. Like this video, subscribe if you can, and yeah, we're gonna get back to work since we do have power. There are some friends around that need some help, so looks like they're getting lots of love, so that's awesome. Appreciate that. And stay tuned in. We'll keep chugging along.